Title: The Sinister Pursuit. I hurried along the deserted street, my footsteps echoing eerily in the silent night. A cold shiver crept up my spine as I glanced over my shoulder, sensing an ominous presence behind me. The streetlights flickered, casting long, ominous shadows on the pavement. Someone was following me, hidden within the darkness. My heart raced, thudding against my chest. I quickened my pace, attempting to outdistance my pursuer. But no matter how fast I walked, the stranger matched my steps with an unsettling persistence. I tried to dismiss my fears as mere paranoia, but the weight of their gaze lingered, sending chills down my spine. Their face remained hidden, veiled by the shadows. Who were they? And what did they want from me? I veered into narrow alleyways and winding paths, hoping to lose the stranger amidst the labyrinthine streets. But each turn I took, they followed, their presence haunting me like a relentless specter. It was as if they could anticipate my every move, closing the gap between us with each passing moment. The night grew darker, the moon obscured by thick swirling clouds. My breath came in ragged gasps, and panic seized me as I realized I was trapped in this game of pursuit. Desperation consumed me, urging me to find refuge from this unknown assailant. Seeking sanctuary, I stumbled upon an old, dilapidated building. The creaking door beckoned to me, promising shelter from the nameless stranger. With trembling hands, I pushed it open, stepping into the musty darkness within. The building groaned, its decaying interior exuding a sense of foreboding. I navigated through the labyrinth of hallways, my footsteps echoing ominously. The stranger's presence persisted, their footsteps echoing in tandem with mine, growing louder and more pronounced. Whispers slithered through the air, like snakes coiling around my senses. I strained to discern their words, my heart pounding in my ears. The whispers seemed to emanate from the very walls, filling the air with a cacophony of disquieting voices. I ventured deeper into the building's heart, the whispers growing more distinct, taunting me with their cryptic messages. Shadows danced and writhed on the decaying walls, their distorted forms mirroring the torment within my mind. A faint light flickered at the end of a corridor, drawing me towards its feeble glow. As I approached, I could discern the outlines of a dilapidated room, its door ajar. With trepidation, I pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit chamber. The room was suffused with an oppressive atmosphere, and the air hung heavy with an otherworldly presence. In the center stood a solitary mirror, its reflective surface tarnished and cracked. A deep unease washed over me as I stared into its distorted depths. Suddenly the whispers grew louder, their voices merging into a cacophony of madness. They reverberated within the chamber, entwining with my thoughts, and I felt myself slipping into a maelstrom of terror. In the fractured mirror, I caught a glimpse of movement, a shadowy figure emerging from the depths of the glass. It reached out, its hand stretching toward me, beckoning with long, bony fingers. A primal scream tore from my throat as I stumbled backward, desperate to escape the room and the stranger who haunted me. I raced through the maze-like corridors, my heart pounding, driven by an instinctual fear. Finally, I burst through the decaying doors into the cold night air. As I gasped for breath, I realized the stranger was nowhere to be seen. Their pursuit had ceased, their presence dissipating like a wisp of smoke. But the echoes of that chilling encounter lingered within me, etching their mark upon my soul. I would forever be haunted by the memory of the stranger who followed me, their intentions remaining an enigma shrouded in the shadows of the night.
Title: The Watchful Pursuit. The credits rolled on the silver screen, signaling the end of another movie night. I gathered my belongings and made my way out of the theatre, eager to retreat into the familiarity of the outside world. The late hour cast a hushed stillness over the streets as I walked alone, relishing the residual excitement from the film. But as I glanced over my shoulder, a sudden jolt of unease coursed through me. A figure stood a short distance away, partially concealed in the shadows. Their eyes, glinting with an unsettling intensity, were fixed upon me. The stranger's presence sent a shiver down my spine, and a sense of foreboding settled in the pit of my stomach. I quickened my pace, attempting to shake off the growing apprehension. The streets grew deserted, the night swallowing the echoes of my footsteps. But the stranger persisted, matching my every move with an uncanny precision. Panic gripped me as I realized I was being followed. I darted into side streets, hoping to lose my pursuer amidst the maze-like alleys. My heart pounded in my chest, the sound drowning out my own thoughts. Yet, no matter how many turns I took, the stranger remained in pursuit, an ever-present shadow in my peripheral vision. With each passing moment, my fear intensified, the once familiar cityscape transforming into a labyrinth of uncertainty. The stranger seemed to anticipate my every move, their presence haunting me like a relentless spectre. I had to find help, to escape this relentless pursuit. My eyes scanned the darkened streets, searching for any signs of life. Finally, I spotted a nearby cafe, its glowing sign a beacon of hope in the desolate night. I rushed inside, my breath ragged, and approached the counter, desperately seeking assistance. The barista's eyes widened as I relayed the situation, a mix of concern and disbelief etched on their face. They beckoned me to the back of the cafe, away from prying eyes. A sense of relief washed over me as I realized I had found an ally in this unexpected refuge. As we huddled in the safety of the cafe's storeroom, the barista contacted the authorities, recounting the chilling pursuit that had consumed my night. The stranger's intentions remained unknown, their presence an enigma wrapped in fear. Time crawled by as we waited, tension permeating the air. Every creak and rustle outside the door amplified the unease that clung to us. Would help arrive in time? Or would the stranger find us, shattering the sanctuary we had sought? Finally, the sound of sirens pierced the night, their wails a symphony of salvation. Relief flooded through me as I realized that the authorities were here, that I would soon be free from the clutches of this unknown stalker. The police scoured the area, their flashlights piercing the darkness as they sought to apprehend the stranger. I watched from the safety of the cafe, a mixture of gratitude and trepidation coursing through my veins. Would they catch the elusive pursuer, or would they vanish into the shadows, forever remaining a haunting spectre in my memory? Minutes stretched into hours as the investigation continued, the night growing colder and more oppressive. And then amidst the whispering wind, I caught sight of a figure being escorted by the police. Relief washed over me as I realized it was the stranger, the enigma that had pursued me relentlessly. As they were led away, their face hidden beneath the hood of their coat, I couldn't help but wonder who they were and why they had targeted me. The answers remained veiled, locked within the depths of the stranger's mind. But one thing was certain. The terror of that night would forever be etched upon my soul. In the aftermath, I found solace in the knowledge that the stranger was captured, that they would no longer haunt my nights. Yet, a lingering unease remained, a reminder of the fragility of safety and the chilling unpredictability of the world. I would forever be watchful, mindful of the shadows that lurk just beyond the screen of everyday life.
Title: The Uninvited Visitor. The night was drenched in darkness, the moon hidden behind thick clouds that suffocated the sky. I sat alone in the comfort of my living room, the only source of light emanating from the soft glow of the lamp beside me. Rain pelted against the window pane, its rhythm creating a symphony of unease. As I curled up on the couch, engrossed in a book, a flicker of movement caught the corner of my eye. My heart skipped a beat as I glanced toward the window. There, on the rain-soaked street, stood a figure shrouded in shadows. A stranger. A chill slithered down my spine as I observed the mysterious visitor. They stood motionless, their face obscured beneath the hood of their cloak. It was as if they were waiting, watching, their gaze fixed upon my house. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Why would a stranger be lingering outside my home on such a stormy night? The thought sent a shiver through my veins, intensifying the sense of dread that settled in the room. With trembling hands, I reached for my phone and dialed the local authorities. As I relayed the details, my voice quivered, betraying my rising fear. They assured me that an officer would be dispatched to investigate the situation promptly. Minutes ticked by like an eternity as I remained locked in my living room, my gaze fixated on the stranger outside. The rain poured relentlessly, the sound becoming an eerie backdrop to the unfolding tension. Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminated the figure, revealing a pale, contorted face beneath the hood. Their eyes, filled with an unsettling intensity, bore into mine, freezing my blood. It was a gaze that held malevolence, a silent threat that sent waves of terror crashing through my body. The arrival of the police siren pierced the night, jolting me from my paralyzed state. Relief washed over me as I saw the red and blue lights flashing, casting an otherworldly glow on the street. The stranger retreated into the shadows, disappearing from view. 2 officers stepped out of their vehicle, their expressions etched with concern. I rushed to greet them, frantically explaining the events that had unfolded. They listened attentively, their eyes narrowing as they surveyed the area. Together we ventured outside, the rain still pouring relentlessly. The officers scoured the surroundings, searching for any trace of the mysterious figure. But to our astonishment, there was no sign that anyone had ever been there. No footprints, no evidence of a presence. Confusion and disbelief gripped me. How could the stranger vanish without a trace? Had I imagined the entire ordeal, succumbing to the tricks of my own mind? As the officers prepared to leave, one of them cast a lingering glance back at the house. "Keep your doors and windows locked tonight," he cautioned. "If you notice anything else unusual, don't hesitate to call us." I nodded, my mind still reeling from the inexplicable encounter. With a sense of trepidation, I locked the door behind me and retreated to my bedroom, seeking solace within the confines of safety. But sleep eluded me, my thoughts consumed by the stranger who had haunted my night. Was it a figment of my imagination? A trick played by the shadows and the storm? Or had something truly sinister transpired? Days turned into weeks, and the memory of that fateful night lingered, casting a pall of unease over my existence. I became hyper-vigilant, always peering through the curtains, searching for any sign of the mysterious visitor. And then, one stormy evening, as the rain pounded against my window, a familiar face appeared. A face that I had hoped to never see again. The stranger stood outside, their eyes locked with mine through the glass, a wicked smile playing upon their lips. I screamed, but the sound was drowned by the thunderous downpour. In that moment, I realized that the nightmare had only just begun. The stranger had returned, bringing with them a storm of terror that would forever darken my existence.
Title: The Sinister Shadow. The final bell rang, releasing us from the confines of the school walls. I heaved a sigh of relief, eager to escape the monotony of the day. Little did I know that the afternoon's respite would be shattered by an unwelcome presence. I walked briskly, my footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. The streets outside were bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, casting long shadows along the path. As I made my way home, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, an uneasy sensation that tingled at the back of my neck. Glancing over my shoulder, my heart skipped a beat. A figure stood a short distance away, their features obscured by the fading light. Fear gripped me as I recognized the stranger from earlier in the day, the one who had been watching me from afar. What did they want with me? I quickened my pace, hoping to leave the stranger behind, but their footsteps echoed ominously, mirroring my every move. Panic tightened its grip on me as I realized that escape was futile. The stranger was following me, their intentions unknown. I took a detour, hoping to lose them amidst the winding streets. But no matter how many turns I made, they remained doggedly on my trail, an ever-present shadow in the fading daylight. Dread swelled within me, intensifying with each passing moment. A chilling gust of wind rustled the leaves, A whisper of warning carried on its breath. The world around me seemed to grow darker, the streetlights flickering ominously. My senses heightened, attuned to the relentless pursuit. I had to find a way out of this nightmare. My heart pounded as I ducked into a nearby alleyway, seeking refuge within its narrow confines. The stranger followed suit, their presence an ominous weight in the confined space. Panic consumed me as I realized there was no escape, nowhere to hide. My mind raced, searching for a solution, a means to break free from this terrifying game of pursuit. Desperation fueled my actions as I decided to confront the stranger head-on. If I could just face them, perhaps I could understand their motives and put an end to this ordeal. With trembling hands, I turned to face the figure standing behind me. The stranger's eyes bore into mine, their gaze filled with an unsettling intensity. Their lips curled into a sinister smile, sending shivers down my spine. It was then that I realized the truth. They weren't just following me, they were hunting me. Before I could react, the stranger lunged toward me, their movements swift and predatory. Instinct kicked in, and I fought back with all my strength, desperate to escape their clutches. We grappled in the dimly lit alley, locked in a harrowing struggle for survival. As our bodies collided, a glimmer of hope surged within me. The stranger faltered, their grip loosening for a fleeting moment. With a surge of adrenaline, I broke free, stumbling backward and sprinting into the night, my heart pounding in my ears. I ran through the labyrinthine streets, my breath ragged and my muscles burning with exertion. Fear pushed me onward, propelling me past my limits. The city blurred around me, a whirlwind of darkness and desperation. Finally, I reached the safety of my home, my chest heaving with exhaustion. The door slammed shut behind me, sealing out the outside world, and the lingering threat that had pursued me relentlessly. I collapsed onto the floor, grateful for the sanctuary of my sanctuary. But even as I caught my breath, a sense of unease settled over me. The memory of the stranger's chilling gaze lingered, a haunting reminder that darkness can lurk in unexpected places. I would forever be wary of the shadows, forever vigilant to the possibility of another sinister pursuit. As night descended, I vowed to remain vigilant, to keep my guard up. The stranger may have disappeared for now, but their presence would forever be etched in my mind. The chase may have ended, but the fear remained, a constant reminder of the darkness that lies in wait, just beyond the familiarity of everyday life.